Pleasant good morning to one and all. Let me get some light here. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to this episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. I know today is Thursday. Let me remind you, today is Thursday, not Wednesday, but we felt it important to come and do this makeup program, so to speak. We're on, as we say, normally on Wednesdays, and then recently we introduced Mondays. But yesterday, Wednesday, I'll tell you about the reason why we could not have been here. But share the live, let people know that we're on. I know a lot of people have been caught unawares that we are on today, Thursday, an unusual day for the program. But I've been warning you all along. I've been advising you. I've been cajoling that you should subscribe to the YouTube channel, that you should follow the Facebook page, and then in that way, you will get notification whenever something is posted or whenever we go live. I posted since Tuesday. I posted notification that there will be no school on Wednesday. I posted again yesterday morning. I did a lot of posting to try to advise students not to come to school. And I understand some people have been in the schoolyard since Tuesday night. My friend Barlett said he been in the yard since Tuesday night, waiting for this program. Well, I had reasons. I'll tell you about it in a short while. So share the live, let people know that we're on today. Many people will not know. And I expect the class attendance to be far less than it usually is. But having said that, I noted that when the program was scheduled this morning, just around 8 o'clock, people flooded in the schoolyard. So, the interest is there. And I suspect that those who flooded in are the ones who would have subscribed to the YouTube channel and the ones who would have followed the Facebook page, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. And therefore, they knew when the program was scheduled, and they too would have been advised that there would have been no program yesterday. So continue to share the live and let people know that you're here. This is the day that the Lord has made, whether it's a Wednesday, whether it's a Monday, whether it's a Thursday. Give praise and thanks. The Lord is good. God is good. He has allowed us to be here, to be part of this program, to be in the land of the living. So we have to make sure that we give praise and thanks. So Leslie, I know a lot of people who have not subscribed because Facebook had this algorithm. I can know that we have a lot of people on the program and they have not subscribed, nor neither have they followed the page on Facebook. So I know. So please do that now. Please do that. I know when you do that, you help to popularize the program. You help to popularize the program. The program has been getting more popular by the minute. Yesterday, Monday we dealt with this issue. One of the main topics we dealt with Monday is this foolish decision of the Guyana Police Force to have the Spanish word policia on the police vehicles. That is the main subject for this morning. We're going to address that in more comprehensively. But following the program on Monday, I posted a short clip, about 12 minutes long, on YouTube, on Facebook. It is there for those of you who have not seen it. And to my pleasant surprise, almost 70,000 persons have viewed that clip. And when you look at the comments that are made, 99% of the comments are against this policia thing that they have. I said we're going to talk about it in greater detail as we go on. So please share the live. Let people know that we are on and we are going to be with you. We're going to do the roll call. Before the last, I forgot roll call last week rather, and I was upbraided for that. So I don't want to be upbraided again. Some people said I'm going to be fined. Confinement to barracks and well, at this age, confinement to barracks is not a good thing for me, right? So I got to make sure that I follow the rules and I do the correct thing. And I say I know the rules, so I should follow those rules. Now, first, let me do the roll call, and then we're gonna go in to the reason why we have no program on yesterday's day. As I say, you will recall that we had our program Monday. And I think that went very, very well in terms of the attendance, in terms of the interaction. First person this morning, Aileen was here early this morning. I suspect After that beat up you get last night at the cricket, you couldn't sleep. So you decided to come on early this morning. We can talk about that too. Then we had Kenneth was here very early from Maryland. He was here at 8:14 this morning. Then we had all the way from the UK. Wayne Little is there. Paul from Canada came in. Vernon B came in after that. Then we had Kevin. Tessa don't miss a program. Tessa don't miss a program. Joan was here. Joan Robertson, she was here very early. She said, good morning, Joan. Ulrich is here, man. Ulrich is missing. Ulrich, you too. I know you have issues following the result last evening. If I get a chance, we can talk about that a little while from now. Brian was here. Denise, Maureen, my squaddy from Arizona. Carl, always, you don't miss it. Carl was here. Welcome, Carl. Courtney came in. Cecile came in class. Then we have Barlet. What's your Barlet? Barlet says he's in schoolyard since Tuesday night. That is a dedicated student. Mosquito must be wash your tail since Tuesday night you're in the class. Right? Hope the boy from that guy, you know that man? Well, like them little Amerindian girls and so on. Hope you pass on. Gotta be careful, you know, when you're in the schoolyard. You're not careful. Hope them people weak down the leg side and their Volkswagen is then pass wrong because they are child molesters, you know. So you have to be careful when you they're in the schoolyard so early. Now we had Matthew there. Pauline, Pauline is was in class. She says she's happy to be in the land of the living, and so should all of us. Colin is here Colin from Queens. I know that. Hazel came in. Then we had Stian came in, and Stian said, and this is true what he said here, you know, this is true. Stian said yesterday, good morning to everyone who is in the schoolyard already. I was there yesterday. The man came in the schoolyard yesterday, and when he didn't see anybody, he called, he messaged me. He did, in fact, and I had to tell him that there's no program yesterday. Then we had the original black man. He said he missed Monday. He missed Monday, or you're missing today. Well, you know, we say when you miss, you can always go on YouTube. You miss the live, so you can always go on YouTube or on the page, and you can see the episode there. Desiree, Eric came in. Eric said that he forgot the book. He was so anxious to get into the classroom. He forgot the exercise book. He had to run home back for it. Hope you didn't live far. Hope you live just around the corner. Isabella was here. Then we had Enric. I can't recall seeing Enric before. Welcome. Charlene, a regular. Winston, Barbara B is in class. People who don't miss class, Oil is here. Doreen, my squad mate from Canada, W349 is here. Como 8218, reporting for class, another regular. Sean get a regular status too. Sean is never missing class at all. Then we have Patrick. He's a regular too. My old-time colleague. Francis, the man from Melanie, is here with us. Andre is here. Bart came in. Emerson from New York is in the house. Then we have Sydney is in the house. Everett, I know, even though he didn't say it, I know he is the man from Texas. Then we had Leslie. Leslie said we are the student. We were devastated yesterday. We waited and waited, but there was no class at the school. No principal and no deputy showed up. I had to go back home and water your plants. So you're suggesting that when you come to school, you don't water your plants? That should be one of your regular morning chores, man. You should water your plants before you come to school, Leslie. Then Queenie from West Coast Barbies. West Coast Barbies girl was here. And then Leslie said, too, that even the guard at the schoolyard was absent. He didn't see no guard. Well, I could tell you the guard is paid to be there every day. And if he wasn't there, yesterday, we got to check with the company that provides the service. Vibart from East Bank is here, another regular. Jean is here. Philip is in class. Then we had Shatred is in class. He reported for duty. What you said, TP? Oh, Lord, these students, you students. Then we had Danny, old detective. Family Music came in. Evelyn came in. And the last person to come in before we went live was Orin. He came in at exactly 11 o'clock. And then for the Facebookers, Lynette, I know Lynette from Barbados, yes, she said that. Petal, Funny spelling, but Petal. Joan is here. Marla came in. Sheila, another squad mate of mine, is here. Michael is here. Paul is here. Popo is here as well. Sandra and Joyce. Well, let me start, and then we're gonna come back and acknowledge the presence of other students. But let me start by saying this. I told you about the short clip that was posted, and we're gonna continue to do that. That thing has generated about 70,000 views, and that is the short clip dealing with this decision to put Spanish word on police vehicle and Spanish signs in police station. We are gonna show you them in a short while. Let me tell you why we had no show yesterday. We had a show on Monday, and I did indicate. Well, no, I told you that we would have had a program on Wednesday, that's yesterday. But sometime after the program on Monday, I received words from my lawyers that the case, the civil lawsuit, that is the case that Karim Bash brought against me. At the time he was senior superintendent, now he's assistant commissioner, brought against me. That matter was scheduled for Friday, last Friday. But I was advised by the lawyers, my lawyers, that there was some issue where I think Karim Bash, the lawyers representing Karim Bash, were asking for the judge to be changed. And therefore, I was advised that there will be no court on Friday and that the new date will be communicated to me at some subsequent time. Monday afternoon, it was communicated that the matter is now set for Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. That is what they call a pre-trial hearing. In other words, pre-trial, the trial before the trial, to decide which documents are going to be accepted and all of that. So following that late notice, we didn't want to inconvenience you by starting late and then rushing and all of that. So we discussed it and we felt that the thing to do was not to have a program. And then I think it was Tuesday afternoon, we decided rather than waiting until next week, Wednesday, let's have this program today because this issue, especially the issue relating to this Spanish word, is so pressing that we have to address it now. So we decided late that we're going to have the program on today, Thursday, and that is it. Well, the same matter is now set for October the 13th for the continuation of the pre-trial hearing. And so that is why I wasn't here yesterday, and that is why there was no program yesterday. So again, I say to you, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, follow the page on Facebook, and you will get the notifications whenever something comes up and we have to not have a program, or we decide to post something. Once you subscribe, you will get all that we post. So that is the reason. I want to take this opportunity to extend belated Independence greetings to my friends in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They celebrated the independence anniversary on September 19th. They became an independent country September 19, 1983, 40 years ago. So I have a lot of friends I have a lot of friends in all the islands. So Dennis and all those guys, happy independence anniversary to you guys. And last program, Monday, I told you about the funeral arrangements for Michael Beard, ex-policeman. And just to remind you, that is set to be on Saturday. Wake is tonight and tomorrow night at his residence, 266 Smithfield, New Amsterdam, and funeral service on Saturday. Counted information I said, Ebenezer Lutheran Church, and the family made requests for no photographs and no videos. And this morning, very early, we got the sad news of the passing of a retired colleague, death of retired Superintendent Malcolm McPherson, 6631, died this morning at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. He was 83 years. I remember Mark. Mark spent some time as the finance man at Cove and John. I remember in the early days when I joined as a SC in 1973, he was there with people. I remember Winston Felix was there as a secretary to the commander, Ivan Crandon. So those persons were there. So Mark passed away this morning. I want to take this opportunity to express condolences to his wife. I know his wife is still alive, his daughter, with whom I spoke sometime last week, and all the relatives and friends, colleagues, squaddies of Mark. Yeah, Mark passed away this morning. We will keep you updated as to the other arrangements. And then last week too, or Monday, I said last week, Monday, we spoke about this devastating flood in Libya, and they had reported their toll of over 11,000 persons. The good news from that, if we can call it that, is that the United Nations have dramatically revised their toll downwards, and they're saying now that their toll now is 3,950. This is as of yesterday. 3,958 persons have died in that flood, and they're saying 9,000 persons are still missing. Right, so total updated. If you can say there's a good news out of such a tragedy, that is the good news, because initially they said 11,300 people died and 10,000 were missing, but yesterday the United Nations have dramatically downgraded that figure to 3,958, but 9,000 persons are still missing. So that is what after bad news, you must say, some good news is that today is the birthday, or we say birth anniversary, of a loyal follower, Gordon Collins, retired police officer Gordon Collins from Canada. He said his regulation number was 6659. It's an old police. I don't know if Mark, who passed this morning, was squad mates, but Mark was 6631 and Gordon Collins was 6659. He's celebrating a birthday today. I want to congratulate him on this birthday. And then a good friend and a person that the whole world know birthday is today. The one and only Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss. Crumpy, if you're listening, and that is a familiar name. Crumpy, if you're listening, all the best, my brother, all the best. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pressing on. Keep on keeping on. Right? So he's celebrating a birthday today. And then we had a recent birthday of a very good friend, and I don't use this word friend very easily. A very good friend of mine recently celebrated a birthday, and I'm referring to no other than Colonel Carl Morgan. Colonel Carl Morgan recently had a birthday. I want to wish you all the best, sir. Continued blessings and guidance from the Almighty. Now, CPL. Let me talk some cricket, Ulrich. Let me talk some cricket. CPL is in the air, buddy. Guyana Warriors, I tell you, y'all got water on the yard. Not me. They got y'all water on the yard. So y'all turned out to your numbers last night, and they took a licking. They took a licking from Trinidad and the Knight Riders, and Knight Riders have gone straight into the finals. Now they're still up because of how the tournament works. Guyana will now, don't say Guyana because of franchise. Warriors will have to face the Talawas. So it's no longer chicken curry and curry chicken. I guess it's chicken curry and curry alligator, curry Talawa, Friday night at 7. And the winner there goes into the final with Trinidad. So, yeah, well, somebody actually predicted that. I saw that on social media yesterday, where somebody predicted that Trinidad or the Knight Riders will beat Guyana. And then Guyana, this is part of the prediction, Warriors will beat Jamaica. And then Warriors and Knight Riders will meet again in the finals. Who's going to win if that happens? Let's wait and see. And the man said this, guys that are there, Man said this morning, apparently there's a lot of rain in some area. I want to say, well, last night when we won the rain fall. Because how the tournament is organized, if rain fell and washed out the match yesterday, there was no provision for reserve day. Warriors would have gone into the finals. It was rainfall after the cricket when they wanted the rain to fall, the rain didn't fall. And then I saw some very disturbing videos circulating on social media since last night. Big fights outside the stadium in the parking lot between what appears to be fans of the Knight Riders and Amazon Warriors. Several fights broke out. Big fight, kicking and coughing and licking down and I falling and all sort of thing. It's there. The tapes are there on social media. Man, it's a game. It is a game. Someone will win, someone will lose, right? But for it to disintegrate into something like that is totally unacceptable. And the videos are there, so I hope that the authorities will take action against those persons. I hope so. And then let me make a comment here too, because I had to comment on it on social media, even though, well, not so, I commented directly, I inboxed the person. Because apparently there was some incident at the stadium some nights ago where a fan turned up and someone was sitting in his seat. You know, you got seats. So somebody there in the seat, he asked the person to move, and the person refused to move. They went for the police, and the person who wrote this article on social media was lambasting the police for not taking action to move. The person started telling me, hey, let me stop it right there. Let me understand how this thing works. To remove the person from the seat in the force is not a police duty. First of all, the person sitting in a seat that he does not belong to is he ain't committing no crime. So let me understand it. Police should get involved when a crime or an offense is committed. And I told him what the protocol is, that they should have had ushers. The organizers should have had ushers to usher people to their seat. And if someone sits in a seat that doesn't belong to him, should be asked to leave the seat. And if he refuses to leave, and listen to this carefully, policemen and all who are listening. If he refuses to leave, having regard, he would then have violated the conditions of the ticket, the conditions of entry into the ground. Because the conditions would have stated that he's assigned to a particular seat. And on that basis, the organizers can ask him to leave, can deem him to be trespassing if he doesn't want to leave. And on that, only then and only then, the police can get involved. Of course, after all the records been made. So am I sitting in the wrong seat that you want the police to go there and move you and perhaps arrest you? No, it don't work that way. It should not work that way. So let's understand it clearly. And I have to defend the police. People just come and they say, oh, are you attacking the police all the time? No, I don't want to attack the police all the time. I tell the truth. I put it out there. I try to correct the police. My method might not be the traditional method, but I put it out there. So I have to tell him, man, look, and he admitted at the end. I said, no. That's not police. The man sitting in a seat to which he's not assigned. What offense he commit? He commit no offense. He violated the terms and conditions of his ticket. And therefore, the organizers of the event have a right to tell him that if he does not comply with the terms and conditions, he will be evicted. And if he continues to be defiant, he can be deemed by the organizers, not the police, by the organizers, to be trespassing. And it's on that basis they can seek the intervention of the police. So let me understand this thing clearly. I hope the young policemen who are listening, and even the older ones, understand and will take action appropriately. Don't get involved in matters just because you have on a uniform and just because somebody wants you to get involved. You must get involved when the law allows you to get involved. So that is it. And you know, the good news, having spoken about CPL, the good news is that the ICC, the International Cricket Council, only yesterday released the venues in the United States for the ICC T20 World Cup 2024 to be hosted in the Caribbean and the United States of America. So the 2024 T20 World Cup will be hosted in the West Indies and in the USA. Yesterday, they identified the 3 venues in the USA. Those venues are Grand Prairie in Dallas, Texas, Broward County. That is going to be the Fort Lauderdale ground where they play in Broward County, and roll, what they call it, bell ringing, drum rolling, and Nassau County, New York. So the 3 venues are a venue in Texas, a venue, the regular venue that we know in Florida, and a venue in New York. So all those forces in New York, man, now, and that's next year. I don't think we have the dates. The dates might be there, but I'm not sure of the dates and so on as yet. So that is it on the sports side. Let me bring in CC at this stage. Mr. Conway, good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning to our viewers, listeners. And I'm happy to be in the land of the living. I'm more particularly English Guyana, not Spanish Guyana. And we're ready to go.
Yeah, we are ready to go. Let me just say too, before I bring you back in, is that I want to say congratulations to 2 persons. And these persons have recently proceeded on pre-retirement leave. People said they retired, then retired. They proceeded on pre-retirement leave. I refer to Inspector Lyndon Wilson. I know what they call it, the coachman. He was involved in athletics for a number of years. at the police level and at the national level. I know that he has had some health challenges recently. And Willow, I wish you all the best on your whenever you retire, because I know people now in this police force are anxious for that date, and some who can't wait if they have a long time have to make a choice. They are making a choice whether they should remain or whether they should cut and run. I know that people have discussed that, whether they should remain having regards to all that is going on, or whether they should cut and run. And the next person to proceed on retirement leave recently is Deputy Superintendent Oswald Pitt. I know Pitty, Oswald Pitt. He was the Deputy Commander of Regional Police Division 7, that is Bartica. He recently proceeded on retirement leave as well. So for those guys, the retirement bench is always a welcoming bench. Even though some people, when they retire, they're frightened to come to the bench. And that's to do with how you live your life in the force. This bench is a welcoming bench. Well, you know, when you get on this bench can get rank. So whether you retire as a constable, you retire as a commissioner, or anywhere in between, this bench does not have rank. We're all retirees. We're all retirees, and we treat each other as such. But we're waiting for some of them. Some of them can't even come close to the bench if they are fortunate to reach that age. Well, of course, some of them don't even want to retire, because when they reach the age, they find an other excuse for staying and to squat in certain positions and so on. So yeah, those two persons, Lyndon Wilson and Oswald Pitt, all the best to you guys. There's life beyond the force. And I've always said to people, you have to prepare while you're in the force for life beyond the force. I know a lot of people retire and can't interact with people out there because they did not treat people well. They did not prepare for life after the Guyana police force. So congratulations to those guys. CC, I'm sure you will want to join me in expressing congratulations to those guys.
Sure. I know both guys. I think Wilson spent about 25 years in this sports department. Remember one time I was a sports officer. I know Pitt well too. Very good guys. And I want to wish them well in their retirement.
Right. So let me go into this main issue this morning, folks. And I'm going to have a little say. And then I'm sure Mr. Conway wants to have his say. He has a lot to say as well. He has a lot to say. But let me, the issue, as I've said, when I posted the notification for the program, I said we're going to discuss this issue where you have the word policia, Spanish police, written on the side of the vehicle. And I expressed outrage. I spoke about it on Monday. Following that, the police issued a release, which don't make much sense to me, like many of the releases issued by the police. And this thing has generated a lot of interest. And I've said this is not about politics. This should not be about ethnicity. This is about being Guyanese. And whatever party you subscribe to, whether you don't subscribe to any party, whatever your ethnicity, this has the potential to impact on all of us, all Guyanese. And I will speak this morning to that. Now, let me show you what we're talking about here, because it was brought to attention not only the word policia, the Spanish word for police is written out at the side of the vehicles, but in police stations, they have signs in Spanish and other languages in police stations. And let me show you what we're talking about, because I know that has come and they say we fabricating thing. This is the policia that we talk about on Monday. Look at there for you to see. And people have commented because people said they saw this thing, but they thought it was some donation or some mistake. And then there's the next one with the other thing. Let me see if I can find that. I might have to show you that a little later because I don't think I have it uploaded. But I'll show you that a little later. So you have that. And the police felt the need to issue a statement following this revelation on Monday. They didn't do it before, but on Monday, following the program that we had, they issued a statement. And here's some of the things that they said. They said The Guyana Police Force, and I'm reading here from news source, excerpts of the release from the police. They say the Guyana Police Force today defends its decision to have the Spanish word for police added to its vehicles, saying that the decision is part of the provision of broad-based and efficient police service to all Guyanese. I'm going to discuss that a little later. This goes on to say, the police further explained today that is also catering for foreign nationals and the influx of persons speaking Spanish in Guyana. The force said its vehicles will have police in English, along with the Guyana Police Force logo, and the word policia will be placed at the bottom of the English writing. The force claims the move is in keeping with the Guyana Police Force's comprehensive and forward-thinking strategic plan 2022-2026 to be inclusive and build partnerships, and as it forges ahead to be a modern law enforcement organization. That is what the release from the police said. I find a lot of things where it makes sense. First of all, they're saying that the decision is part of the provisions of a broad-based and efficient police service to all Guyanese. Let me read that back. It's saying that the decision is part of the provision of a broad-based and efficient police service to all Guyanese. Now tell me, these scientists, how that putting the word police in Spanish will provide efficient service to all Guyanese. Tell me how that is going, just by putting a word on the side of a vehicle in Spanish, can assist in providing efficient service to all Guyanese. And then they go on to say that the catering for the influx of persons speaking, of Spanish-speaking persons in Guyana. That is what they're catering for. So it's no longer about Guyanese, it's no longer about the influx of Spanish-speaking persons. And I've said before, and I have confirmed it, that a lot of places have Spanish-speaking people. People told me over the past few days that Texas, where our friend on this program is from, has thousands and perhaps hundreds of thousands of Spanish-speaking people. And the vehicles, police vehicles, English. Whether it's sheriff, whether it's police, English. People said, somebody told me that Little Havana in Miami, large Spanish-speaking population, English language on the police. New York, which I know well, I move around New York frequently. Same thing, I've never seen a Spanish word on the vehicle. And the thing is, New York has far more, in fact, let me put it this way. The Spanish-speaking population in New York is larger than the population of Guyana. I am sure. Same thing in Havana, Little Havana, same thing in Texas. And they don't have that. But we have these people here now doing this. And I make the point, and I'm repeating it here for emphasis before I bring in Mr. Conway. The main issue here for these people who seem not to understand is not only the Spanish word, it's not only the fact that you decide to arbitrarily place policia, Spanish police, on the side of government police vehicle, Guyanese vehicles. The main issue, as far as I'm concerned, and I will go into it a little later, is the fact that Venezuela, our only Spanish-speaking neighbor, has had a spurious claim to two-thirds of Guyana. Venezuela is claiming the entire Essequibo, two-thirds of Guyana, oil-rich Essequibo, not only oil, mineral-rich, resource-rich Essequibo. They are claiming, and you would have seen only this week, the Venezuelan president doubling down and trying to hinder development in the Essequibo. And here it is. These people in the Guyana police force, and I suspect they would have been given those orders because Mr. Ben, the Minister of Home Affairs, has made statements, which I'll tell you about a little later, about this issue. Can they not see that this is undermining our sovereignty? Can they not see that? And I will go into it in detail. As I said, we're going to dedicate the entire remainder of the morning to deal with that. But let me bring in CC so CC can handle this part. CC.
Yeah, Paul. I I'm still shocked over what has happened there. And if you look at the police statements, they're talking about the writings on vehicles, but there are writings on buildings, BV police station, Central Police Station, New Amsterdam, and elsewhere. There are writings in Spanish on the buildings. I don't know if a Spanish man goes to BV or New Amsterdam Police Station or elsewhere where they have the writings, if they're gonna accept the reports in Spanish, or if there be somebody there who is going to entertain this report who will be able to be talking Spanish. And as you rightly said, Paul, this is about national interest. Venezuela has a claim of over 2/3 of Guyana, unjust claim. We have them before the World Court. And here is it, we are facilitating Spanish speaking people. We're making it easy for them. And when you look at it, Trinidad get more Spanish people, more Venezuelans than Guyana. And there's nothing in Spanish in any buildings or any vehicle or anything in Trinidad. I headed once I headed a delegation, again a delegation to Cayenne, where they have thousands of Guyanese there. Guyanese villages they have there, and everything there is French. You go to breakfast is French. You go to lunch is French. You go to dinner is French. You go to cocktail is French. All the meetings that we attended is French, and they can speak English. I remember one time one of the guys started to talk in English, and they shut him up. He had to go back to French. We must not. If foreigners come to our country, they must abide to our rules. We mustn't bend things to suit them. And maybe because of we talking about having Spanish in our vehicle and Spanish in our buildings, maybe that's why the Venezuelan president has come up now. He was quiet all the time, and he come up now and he challenging our procedure of his issuing permits to persons to explore the Guyana for a while. The thing is shocking, and then the police talking about this the statement that they have they're teaching Mandarin and Portuguese and Mandarin and Portuguese and Spanish at the so-called academy. Later on, I'll talk about the academy in one forum that me, you know how we turn academy. Changing the name doesn't make you an academy. It's joke. And they're talking about a strategic management plan 2022 to 2026. They're talking that it is part of it. And they get a strategic plan which is joke and which does not talk about this teaching of Spanish, as the case may be. And the strategic plan is cut and paste. Let me talk about it. It's cut and paste. They borrowed a lot from Capital Simmons. It's on some shaky pillars. We talk about developing people, infrastructure, performance, professionalism, accountability, and operational priorities. They cut and paste. And if you look at the strategic plan now, maybe Paul in one of our episodes, we may need to look at the police strategic plan, the plan that they have. But traffic is chaos. And here is I digress in a bit. And here is the police strategic plan, part of it dealing with traffic. Maybe that's why they have so much of chaos on it. The objective to develop and implement a robust traffic management system by 2026. Develop a robust traffic management system by 2026. Everything is 2026. And here the strategic achievement. Conduct seminars with road users and drivers, apparently drivers, not road users, quarterly to promote road safety on an annual basis by 2026. Conduct traffic safety campaigns and educational program in regional divisions monthly by 2026. Conduct road driver seminar sessions monthly with regional divisions by 2026. implement a robust traffic management system in collaboration with agencies and government departments. And the last one, develop and implement a traffic management system. Oh, that could be a strategic plan. And those are the strategic objectives, how they could achieve anything. But back to the Spanish thing, is that we are an English speaking country and we must not bow down to the traffic, to the Venezuela. We must fight Venezuela. I heard the President Paratin himself at the United Nations about how he's going to fight Venezuela and he's not giving up. And he's not giving up anything, you know. But you mustn't bad, Brad. You must bar the yard. You must bar in Guyana. And don't worry with this Spanish thing that he promoting. And even the Vice President Jaglio, here's what Jaglio said. Where you want to give away Guyana? He said that he will give Venezuela a pathway through our rivers to the Atlantic. Give Venezuela a pathway through our rivers to the Atlantic. So they're giving away the country. Maybe that's why they are in Spanish in schools. And now we're getting police buildings, police vehicles. And nonsense, Paul. Nonsense, Paul. Let me stop here for a while and bring you in.
Thanks, my brother. Thanks. Well said. And let me show you the sign that we're talking about because I think everybody know about um the, the police here decided the vehicles, but we have here now in the stations themselves. Look at these signs. Look at what we understand. You see the one there, Better for Watkins Police Station, and then the one to the right. You have what is Welcome to Covan John Police Station. It's an inquiries office and other languages below that. But let me say this. This thing is so foolish, and let me explain why. The fact that you are putting, especially in the inquiries office and the building, you're putting it in Spanish, another language. You are saying that the people would not understand the English version of that word. You're saying that they're not going to understand the English version of that word. That is very logic, even though I know some of y'all don't understand logic. So therefore, you feel a need to put the word in another language. So all right, let's accept that for argument's sake. So the person comes and they see the Spanish for inquiries office and they go into the inquiries office. Who are they going to interact with? Police. Can the police interact with them in this language that they now see and come to speak with? So this thing make the thing even more foolish. You put in, and again, when you put police in Spanish at the side of the vehicle, you are saying that people who are Spanish speaking will not recognize the word police at the side of the vehicle, even though that is not the only thing to recognize the vehicle by. It is painted in a particular color. Most of them are flashing lights. But there should be people in uniform. You're telling me, notwithstanding all of that, you feel the need to put the word in Spanish at the police vehicle. And again, I make the point. So therefore, you're saying, all right, welcome to Bedford Police Station. So you're saying that a person who is Spanish speaking, who only speaks Spanish, cannot understand that. So you have it below in Spanish so he can understand. So he now knows that this is BV Police Station. He goes into the BV Police Station. He meets with a rank or ranks. Then he has to, because you don't say he can't speak English, so he has to interact with Spanish. Can the ranks relate to him in Spanish? Do they know Spanish to accept a report and all of that? When a report is made, what's going to happen? In what language they're going to take this report? If a Spanish-speaking person come, are they going to take it in English? If they understand the language, are they going to take it in Spanish? This thing is so foolish. And I understand when I'm asking question, how decide? Who get this brainwave? Because I understand that this thing is couple weeks. The vehicles have been so marked, and these signs are in the station. Who got this brainwave? I know what somebody told me. CC, they tell me say it come from the top. So assuming that the top that they're referring to is the squatter, I said, well, how can he? People said, no, not the top, the top. That is what I say. And people have been saying, and I tend to agree. People have been saying, well, this is another attempt to put money in certain people's pocket, because it will be interesting to know. It will be interesting to know who is or who are the persons who would have gotten the contract to paint these vehicles, these things that decided the police vehicle, and to make these signs and put them in the police station. Who are the persons, right? Who are the persons to do this? And I made the point last week, or was saying last week all the time on the previous program Monday, right? I made the point, right? Well, yeah, there's somebody's pointing out that even the word Benefit walked in is spelled incorrectly. God, I don't think it's 2T. I live there. I don't get it's 1T. So even that, and I didn't observe that. I told you all about these children that we have. All the years I know BETRVRWGTING. But here it is, they spell it with 2T's. So I don't know the Spanish version. So they spell it in 2T's. Thanks to that observation. And I'm saying this. I am saying this. This thing, again, nothing with the language in itself. Nothing. The president just announced some months back that Spanish will be mandatory in the school. I have no problem with that. I remember going to primary school, we were taught basic Spanish. Nothing wrong with that. But the main issue here, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that Venezuela has a spurious claim, which they have maintained against two-thirds of Essequibo. Two-thirds of Essequibo. That's two-thirds of Guyana, rather, which is the entire Essequibo. And this is what you are going to reward them with. You are going to reward the Spanish-speaking people by having Spanish signs in the station, and you don't see anything wrong with that. You do not see anything wrong with that. And let me say something further. As I said before, this borders on treason. You know what is treason by definition? Treason is giving aid and comfort to your enemy. And don't tell me that Venezuela is not our enemy. If not the people, at least the acts of the president of Venezuela, and recent statements, I'm going to go through them, makes him an enemy of Guyana. He's standing in the way of development in Guyana. That makes him an enemy. And you give him aid and comfort to an enemy, and that is treason. Well, let me say further to emphasize this point before I bring in CC. The part claimed by Venezuela, wrongfully and falsely, Essequibo, two-thirds of Guyana, as regional police divisions 1, regional police division 2, regional police division 7, regional police division 8, and regional police division 9. I think there's 5 I call. So here you're going to have a situation now where police vehicles in those divisions in an area claimed by Venezuela are going to have Spanish marking on the outside, and the police stations are going to have Spanish signs inside. Now, if that is not madness, tell me what is. If that is not madness and if that is not a treasonous act, tell me what is. I don't know what is. Again, I repeat, 5 of the police divisions are in Essequibo, the area claimed by Venezuela, wrongly so. And you are going to now write Spanish on the side of those police vehicles and have Spanish signs inside those police stations. And you want to tell me that is not madness, brother? That is not madness. This thing is very upsetting. And as I've said, this is an issue that cuts across race, cuts across religion, cuts across politics. This is Guyana. This is Guyana. Guyana should not be selling out. And this is a clear case where it can be seen, despite what they try to, the propaganda they try to push and all of that, is a sheer rubbish. Well, let me bring in CC, and then I'll come back. CC, I'm sure you want to say something further on this issue, more on this issue.
I have to, because it is deeper than the face surface, Paul. It is, they have a hidden political agenda. Let me repeat, a hidden political agenda. And let me make it clear, I am apolitical. I don't belong to any political party. Since 1973, when I became an eligible voter, I have not voted for any political party at any national or regional election. But let me put things in proper perspective here, Paul. Now, looking at things at it politically, the PPPC, or whether I know it's PPC, but let's call it the PPP. They have their political stronghold in Region 2, Region 3, Region 6, PNC, Region 4, and Region 10. They have what I call spin votes, Region 1, Region 7, and Region 8. To a lesser extent, Region 9. Now, the Venezuelans or the Spanish people, there's been a great exodus of them coming to Guyana, particularly in Region 1, Region 7, and Region 8. The, the thinking is, or there's a school of thought, Paul, that if the PPP wins big, massively in Region 2, 3, and 6, which is their stronghold, and they capture Region 1 or Region 8, Region 1, 7, or 8, they are likely to win the election. And if the PNC wins massively in Region 4 and Region 10 and capture the votes in Region 1, 8, 1, 7, or 8, they are likely to win the election. So bringing the Spanish people in and accommodating them, treating them good, and I won't be surprised if later on they mightn't give them citizenship, but if later on they got ID cards, and ID cards will entitle them to vote whether they name on the preliminary voters list or whether the final voter list. It will give them the opportunity you can't rule out the possibility of them voting at elections, and they're in large numbers. So remember at the last election, we hear people sharing out ID card outside polling station on the East Coast and because of West Demerara. Those things could happen. So I'm saying that part of the plan is political. Treat the Spanish people good so they know that they're in your corner. Give them ID card, whether lawfully or unlawfully. And when election time comes, that people vote. We know people who've been overseas living well during voting time also vote. That all kind of thing will happen. So the part of the thing is for them to treat them good. You might make them citizens, and I see in today's paper they're talking about some citizenship seminar or something like that, that it is likely that they're going to get ID cards and they're going to vote for people who treated them well. So it's part of the political strategy, and that is one of the hidden agendas, Paul.
Yes, yeah, I saw that thing with citizenship and all of that too, and I believe exactly what you're saying. I believe that. But let me come back to some of the statements made in respect to this thing. Minister Ben, this is from Newsroom, is saying that, and this is something that published on the 19th, 2 days ago. Minister of Affairs Robson Ben Tuesday explained that this sign story is to cater for a significant number of people in the country who speak Spanish. That is what he said. Well, we have already addressed that. You got significant number of persons in Florida, in Texas. Somebody told me other places, New York, and other states, and they don't do this. So there must be some hidden agenda in doing this. And he goes on to say it's an attempt to respond to the many persons in the population who speak Spanish. It's just a bilingual thing. That is what they quote the minister as, it's just a bilingual thing. Ben told Newsroom in an invited comment. Ben is further alleged to have said to them, he said the move is a little trial. Hear what the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, is quoted or is reported in Newsroom. I know Newsroom is one of their news machines, saying that he is quoted as saying, the move is a little trial as the force works on ideas to cater for Spanish-speaking persons who are in the country. Many migrants from neighboring Venezuela. So the little trial story is what Ben is quoted as saying. And then it goes on to say the police, quoting Ben again, is saying the police are working on ideas in respect to it. I think they are doing a little trial at it. There is an attention, of course, to reflect the significant people in our population who speak Spanish. Then he goes on, the newsroom go down, the quote you're saying, they say the newsroom also contacted Commissioner of Police Acting, Clifford Ikin, for a comment. Ikin said that he is aware of the concerns raised and the force will be issuing a press statement shortly. Well, the press statement that the force issue from the propaganda unit, as I said, it be a crap because they said the decision is part of the provision of a broad-based and efficient police service to all. How, again, I ask the question, how just writing the name or having these signs will improve the efficiency of the police force? And then they talk, CC touched on it, they talk about this being part of the strategic plan 2022-2026. I have a copy of that plan. Nowhere in that plan is this thing about having Spanish signs on police vehicles or in police station can be found. No place in this strategic plan. So it's just a lot of lies, just a lot of lies. And I am saying this again, that this issue is one that no patriotic Guyanese should let up on. This thing must be moved. This thing must change. This thing must change. This Spanish on the side of the police vehicles, this Spanish writing in police station must be changed. We must demand that it be changed, especially since it seems to have been an arbitrary decision. No discussion. I have some question here that I want to ask. Right? I have some questions to ask. First of all, let me check my notes and tell you what are the views of the National Security Advisor on this issue. We have a National Security Advisor, Gerald Govaya, is a National Security Advisor. I would like to know what are his views on this subject. I would like to know if he had a say, if he does not see that this thing is likely to impact on national security. Because here again, I must emphasize, this is not only about Spanish. This is about the fact that our only Spanish-speaking neighbor, Venezuela, has maintained their claim to two-thirds of Guyana. The entire Essequibo, they're claiming as theirs. And it cannot be a coincidence that now that all these things are happening, the Venezuelan president started to rattle his saber again. Rattling his saber, came out with a statement 2 days ago, stating again, reaffirming that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. One of the comments on the short clip in Spanish that I spoke about on the speaking out page was asserts in one of the comments that Essequibo is part of Venezuela. That's what they're saying. I understand that even in the schools in Venezuela, they teach that Essequibo, however they call it, is part of Venezuela. They have maps in Venezuela showing that Essequibo, our Essequibo, is part of Venezuela, and I'm gonna roll up my sleeve. These morons that we have cannot see that is perhaps giving legitimacy. Having Spanish on the police vehicles, especially vehicles that are going to be in Essequibo, right? Having Spanish writing and signs in police station, they can't see that is lending legitimacy to this spurious claim by Venezuela. This thing is so upsetting. They get National Security Council and they have all these people at these levels. Have they had a say in this? Was this thing deliberated and look at the pros and cons? Did they do that? As again, I say, my information that it was an arbitrary decision. A man get a brainwave and call us, hey, put the signs in Spanish. Let's have Spanish signs in all the police stations, despite what they say, because that's what the police release said. This is not me saying so. The police release said they want to put these things in all the police divisions and perhaps all the stations as well. That is what they're doing. And people cannot see. These people we have leading us. And I'm saying, again, it cuts across all the divides you can think about, and we should come out and demand a reversal of this foolish and treasonous policy. We should. CC, let me hear your views further.
Paul, this thing, Extending Hicken was a strategic plan, and it fits neatly into the Spanish issue. Let me make the point. The extended, you remember the extended squatter was sent to the Ministry of Citizenship under Winston Felix, specifically to deal with the Venezuelans, to deal with the Spanish people in region 1, 7, and 8, and sometimes in region 2 and 3. He knows them. He knows where they are. And remember, after the government change, they're moving from there, put him at ups, and now he's elevated to the position, to a squatting position. The thing is that he said, and he told me personally, that David Granger government was a one-shot government, a one-term government. And when David Granger government loses power, he will be appointed commissioner of police. He said he and the vice president are personal friends, and the vice president tell him that he's going to turn commissioner. So they have this Spanish thing, and he would be heading it. He is the man who will be running with it as the head there. So it has the political issues. And then again, if you're going to make a policy statement like that, that you have Spanish in schools, Spanish at the police station, Spanish in the vehicles, and the police got to be involved there in dealing with these Spanish people. You have your man there. You have the extended squatter. And remember, he said, and he told all the deputy commanders that he has been extended till after election. So I'm saying that the strategic plan of this Spanish thing is an election tactics, is an election strategy. And if you're going to deal with Venezuelan history, remember Venezuelans said 2/3 of Guyana. I don't know what advice the Central Intelligence Agency, because we have a Central Intelligence Agency in Guyana that brief the presidents every week. And they should be able to tell the president. I remember when I was doing security with the FBI, the first say when you have issues like territorial issues, you deal with the leader has to deal with the DIME. You deal with things diplomatically. You look at your intelligence, you look at your military might, and you look at your economics, that you deal with your dime. So this thing here is political, and they have people in place to carry out it. It's an election strategy, and that is what is happening. Not just by the way policing it. It's an election strategy to stay in power. And then you have the squatter there. You extend him till long after elections so that he can carry out your task.
Well said, well said. Well, let me say, again, let me understand what happened there. Gordon Mosley, I think, is the first person to have highlighted this thing publicly. And then we had in our program on Monday, we spoke at length about it. We did the short clip. It's a 12 minutes clip. Has almost 70,000 views. People from all walks of life are viewing and are commenting and are expressing their disgust at this movement. So you had that. The police hustle and the issue they release, trying to justify, according to what the thing say, the Guyana Police Force defended its decision to have the Spanish word police added to its vehicles. They say added. But when we saw the clip that we showed, it's nothing added. Look what going on. So it's not, and again, let me deal with language, They say added to the vehicles. But this is not added, this is only policia. It's the English word that was added, not the Spanish word. So let's understand this thing clearly. They're saying that the Spanish word was added to the vehicle. But what we see, the Spanish words was emblazoned on the vehicle. And later on, I understand that you now have the police word on the vehicle. But the Spanish words alone was there along with the police crest. Now, so all right, so this thing make a big noise. People talk out about it and so on social media. A few letters, well, quite a few letters in the media calling this thing an asinine move, and I agree with that. And almost on cue, the president of Venezuela on the 19th, again, the thing issued a statement which says like this: Venezuela government on Tuesday criticized Guyana offshore oil bidding wrongs and said companies seeking up the 8 blocks will not have rights to explore the maritime areas. So here it is. You have Venezuela again trying to interrupt the development in Guyana. President came out with that statement. He goes on to say that the Venezuelan thing, well, they're pointing out here that the International Court of Justice in April of this year, the International Court of Justice ruled that it had jurisdiction over the issue, which will determine the rights of the country in the rich oil and gas, especially offshore. So here it is. We know what's going on with the oil and gas being developed. The matter is before the International Court of Justice. And therefore, we have a right, we Guyanese have a right to continue to develop our resources. This is not a game of politics. We have a right. So we have been doing that. So they had oil blocks bid recently. 8 oil blocks were up for bid. Exxon and other people bid for the oil blocks. And immediately thereafter, Venezuela president came out to say that this thing is illegal. In other words, he threatening, now he goes on to say, Venezuela strongly rejects the illegal licensing wrong being carried out in Guyana, as it intends to use maritime areas that are subject to the limitation between both countries. Further, he says, Venezuela argues that Guyana does not have sovereign rights over the areas. So any oil activity there must be done in agreement with Venezuela. You hear nonsense like this? And this is what makes this decision with these Spanish signs and vehicle even more worrying. They're saying, Venezuela saying it. Venezuela argues that Guyana does not have sovereign rights over the areas. That is these oil blocks, right? So any activity there must be done in agreement with Venezuela. Venezuela said they got to give us permission to auction oil blocks in we land, in we Essequibo, that they are claiming. And again, oh my Lord, we get some morons decide in all of this. Well, let me put it this way. Let me be fair to them. They might have made the decision before. Not might have. They made the decision before this. But now that you have had this saber rattling from the Venezuelan president, this is even more reason for you to say, hey, this was a mistake, and let me reverse this decision. This is even more reason. You have justification now for doing so. So if you are looking for a way to reverse the decision and to save face, this is it. The Venezuelan president has given you that, and you should grasp it with both hands. Following a statement by the Venezuelan president, they call this the Reuters article. I'm reading it. Reuters. They say Ali, referring to President Ali, last week said in Washington, the territorial dispute should be resolved through the ICJ. And he's quoted here as saying, we are very clear. We've allowed this matter to go to the ICJ, and we have continuously encouraged Venezuela to participate fully in the process for both parties to respect the outcome of the process. And then this article reminds us that the confrontation in 2018 prompted Venezuelan's navy to intercept a drill ship hired by Exxon to explore near the maritime border. People, they're forgetting all of this, that Venezuela evicted exploration vehicle in the thing, that Venezuela has been accused of making incursions across the border into Guyana, robbing people and doing all sort of thing. And they forget that, and this is what they're going to do. This is what they're gonna do, and they do not see. I mean, we know that they're stupid. We know that many of them and get much brain power. We know, and that is even more reason why when these things come up, you must sit and discuss, put it out there in the public. You talk about transparency and all of that, right? You talk about transparency. We talk about the Central Intelligence um, Committee, or whatever they call it, a national security advisor, and all these people just drawing pay under false pretense. You want to tell me that they saw this and they agreed to this? You want to tell me that this thing now having happened, let's say they did not agree, they did not know, they don't have the gumption, they don't have the balls to stand up and say that this is wrong and this should be reversed? They don't. And the good thing about this is that I have noted that following this statement, because he made another statement too, that is the Venezuelan president. He made another statement. The fact that the OAS, that the Organization of African States, and the US have come out in support of Guyana's territorial integrity. They came out with statements. Yesterday, the Venezuelan president fired back and talk all sort of things about these people. In other words, he is doubling down and saying that this place, this Venezuela, this Essequibo area belongs to Venezuela. And they are going to object strongly, as they have been doing, to any development in that area. And my God, our people are sitting down quietly and allow that to happen. We are sitting quietly and allow that to take place. This is aggression by Venezuela. And remember, aggression don't have to be in the form of guns and bombs and warship and all of that. That doesn't have to only take that form. But can you imagine investors now, when they say the rattling, investors are now reluctant to invest in these areas? And what happens? We are the ones, we Guyanese, who are going to punish because of what is going on. And again, I say, in light of all of this, our brilliant people, and I hope you recognize the sarcasm here, these brilliant people are going to make such a decision, which to my mind will lend legitimacy to the claim by Venezuela. And I repeat again, 5 police divisions, regions, division 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 are in Essequibo, the area claimed by Venezuela. So you are now going to put the police, have Spanish in the police vehicles and Spanish signs in the police station. My Lord. CC, have a go, man, have a go.
And let me get back to the vice president's statement, and I'm going to repeat it. He's talking about giving Venezuela a pathway through our waters to the Atlantic. And what was he talking about here? He's talking about the Cayuni, the Mazzaroni, the Pataro, the Rupununi, and the Essequibo, straight through to the Atlantic Ocean, where all the oil business going on there. Ridiculous. And there's a wall of silence, as you mentioned, with the security people. Perhaps they're not security advisor. They just they're around the place, running to Washington and running about the place. That we need to be serious. Venezuelan is aggressive, and they're talking about aggression, and you get aggression in various forms. Various forms. If in the Cayenne and all, the miners cannot traverse that waterway at will. They're stopping them and they gotta pay and all kind of story in Guyana. So the whole thing is that we already started to give up. And maybe that's what gain the president of Venezuela spunks, because he'll have access, he'll have the pathway through our waters in the Cayuni, Mazzaroni, Pataro, Rupununi, Essequibo, and straight into the Atlantic, where the economic activities is booming.
Yeah, and let me say this. Let me say this too. Um, perhaps people don't realize it, but this issue, this claim, this spurious claim by Venezuela to Guyana territory, this is one uniting issue in Venezuela. My understanding is even the opposition parties and all the political parties are on one with this, that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. So we must unite. We know Essequibo belongs to Guyana. The records are there. right? The matter is engaging the International Court of Justice. We have a strong case. Venezuela resisted going to this forum for the longest while. They resisted. They claimed that they did not have this forum do not have jurisdiction over this issue. In April this year, it was ruled that yes, we have jurisdiction, so let's hear the matter. And they are continue to be aggressive in this claim that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. And this is what we are doing. As I said, even in schools, they teach it in Venezuela that Essequibo is Venezuela. They teach that. They have maps showing that Essequibo is part of Venezuela. And here we are putting Spanish signs now on these vehicles, and we think that's such a good thing. And as according to the police, that is to increase efficiency. And according to the Minister Ben, the police, what he said? The police, a little trial. A little trial, and all the vehicles are marked. What trial? What are you trialing? What are you trialing? All the vehicles are, all the stations are to get these signs, and you're trialing. That is what the minister is quoted in Newsroom saying. It's a little trial. Well, the trial should end immediately. The trial should end immediately, or there should be another trial. If this trial with these signs don't end immediately, then there should be another trial. And you figure out what this other trial should be. Right? And let me go on to tell you. I don't know this. I honestly don't know what these people are thinking. There is currently a war between Ukraine and Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. And do you know what one of the claims, what one of the claim is? They claim that they have a large Russian-speaking community in part of this Ukraine area, and that this Russian-speaking community have been complaining of being bullied and being treated badly by the Ukrainians, by Ukrainians. So therefore, Putin said that that's one of the reasons he advanced for going into Ukraine and start the war, killing how much thousand people and so on. Let me tell you what it says. In February 2022, Putin claimed that Ukrainians and Russians are, and here what he says here, Ukrainians and Russians are one people. He sees Ukrainians and Russians as brothers, as brother nations, and say that because Russia is the older brother, it should be in charge. He also falsely claimed that Russian speakers in Ukraine were under attack, and the invasion is to protect them. That is what Putin claimed when he invaded Ukraine. Can we not see something similar if we allow this rubbish to happen down the road? Where we have a large influx of Spanish-speaking people, especially in the Essequibo region that is claimed by Venezuela. And then at some stage, they will then claim that they are being treated badly. After what Putin said, they're under attack and treated badly. And then Venezuela using that as a justification to say they come and take over Essequibo. Can we not see these things? Are we not looking to see what is happening in the other parts of the world? And let me say, as I said, they got a story of the Trojan horse. You almost read that thing, the Trojan horse. Troy, I think it was. And with this large influx of Spanish-speaking people, as claimed by the minister, the fact that Venezuela has laid claim to 2/3 of Guyana, I have a strong suspicion, and I show any right-thinking people, the same security people. You would have had a lot of Trojan horses, a lot of people coming across as refugees. They are not. They are agents. They are coming to do all the recce, do all the maps and all them type of thing and feeding it back. And here we are going even further to accommodate them. We don't even have a proper system of vetting these people. We don't have a proper system of vetting them, and yet still we're now leaning back. We're now leaning back to accommodate even further with the language in police stations and all that. People, open your eyes and see what is happening. See what can happen. We can wake up one morning and see the whole Essequibo. Because I don't think it will take much. Because let me be frank, we have a military. I don't know that they can really put up any type of resistance, especially since the man in charge does get emotional distress. A politician made a statement about him in parliament, and he reports that he's emotionally distressed and filed cybercrime charge against the politician. So can you imagine if a bomb drop outside in the Atlantic Ocean there, close to the office, what could happen? What could happen? There's not emotional distress. There's all kind of other distress. That is what we have. That is the reality. That is the reality. So I am saying again that this thing should not be taken lightly by all patriotic Guyanese. Patriotic Guyanese, let's stand up and let's demand that this decision be reversed. Let's demand. This is one issue we should unite with, and we should remember what Dave Martin sang. Not a blade of grass, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. Venezuela, carry yours. Guyana, or Essequibo belongs to Guyana. And all patriotic Guyanese should stand up and make that point and tell the government that this foolish and perhaps even treasonous decision to have the signs painted or the word in Spanish at the side of the vehicle and police stations with Spanish language. No, 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 no. Guyana is an English-speaking country. And not like what a sidewinder say, a traditional. We are an English-speaking country. And all signs should be in English. And if foreigners come, they must assimilate. In other words, they must fall in and cover down. When foreigners come, I could understand these signs at the airport because you have, if you're in transit, you might want to see different languages to guide people where to go. But in Guyana, in the police station again, let me tell you how foolish this thing is. You put in inquiries office. Let me put up back the sign. You put in inquiries office. The word inquiries office at Covanjan in welcome to Covanjan police station, and then they have, I think is the first one must be Spanish. The next one look like Portuguese. They get one look like Chinese and some other language. You have all them languages there. So therefore, you're saying that the one at the bottom inquiries office is not going to be recognized and understood by persons who come into the office. So you need to get them other language. Yeah. So when the man come in, the man speaking anyone, them other language, and he reaches out to whoever in the station. Can they understand what he's saying? Can they interact and relate to him? This is sheer stupidness, you know. This is sheer foolishness, or as an old inspector of mine, Nyland Welch, would say, nonsenseness. This is nonsenseness. It makes no sense. And they talk about strategic plan and all sort of crap this propaganda unit came out with. All sort of nonsense. Again, I say we must demand. We must demand. The Attorney General the other day said I ranted and wailed over. So I'm going to rant and wail over this. I'm going to rant and wail over this, and all Guyanese, patriotic Guyanese, should join me to rant and wail over the fact that we have Spanish word at the side of the police vehicle and Spanish and other languages in the police station. We are an English-speaking country, and therefore all our signs should be in English. All our signs. Nothing wrong with trying to teach policemen, as they say, Spanish and Portuguese and Mandarin. Nothing wrong with trying to teach them. Nothing wrong. So they can perhaps relate to people who speak those languages. Nothing is wrong with that. But to have the signs at the side of the police vehicle and in the police station is a ridiculous, is an absurdity, as a writer said today in Sabrok News. It's an absurdity. And again, you're insulting the intelligence of these people, because you're saying too that when they see police in English on the side of the vehicle, they can't recognize that there's a police vehicle. And when they see the police station welcome, they can't, even though they might recognize it because better what can spell wrong. Even when they see that, they cannot recognize. You're insulting the people there. I'm sure many of those persons, as I've said, police vehicles in particular, is not only about the writing on the side, it's about the color of the vehicle, it's about the light at the top and all of that. And I am saying here now that this issue, if it is not reversed, we should call for Ben. It's about time for Ben to go home. It's about time for the squatter to go back to another 55 and catch the distance. Because this is now a national. They don't want to call it rubbish, They do all sort of nonsense. And Guyanese have been quiet. This one, impacts on our sovereignty. It impacts on who we are as a country, who we are as a nation. And therefore, everyone, patriotic ones, should come out and call on them to reverse it. And in the absence of it being reversed, we should call and Ben see something that he did in China. Maybe call for make sure he stay there. He could learn Chinese right there. He and Anasani and the deputy, the man they call deputy commissioner operation. These imposters masqueraded. They are not deputy commissioner operations. They have an assistant commissioner who's performing the duties of. We come back to it again. A deputy commissioner who's performing the duties of. Or assistant commissioner rather, who's performing the duties of. He's not a deputy commissioner. Check Article 211, which tells you what is the process. Ask Nandalal. What is Nandalal? What is the process to become a deputy commissioner? As spelled out. He make the nice about Apiro. And them writing and calling Budram and calling Brutus and them deputy commissioner. And they know that they have not gone through that process. You see how hypocritical these persons are? You see how hypocritical they are? So, CC, let me bring you in for your closing remarks, man. God, this thing has just been said. One moment. Let me check out this time. Yeah. Your closing
Well,
remarks, my brother.
you made important point, about the Trojan horse, that people will come in, a lot of spies, people will come in, and they're doing any monitoring, and they don't know checking on anybody. People come in by the droves. In Region 1, Mabrumo, there's a place called Can Hill, a big settlement there in the Morocco sub region, and all over the place they are there. And maybe because they're getting some money from the IOM, International Organization of Migration, they won't accept the IOM money, right? If the people come in and later on you're gonna make them citizens, later on you're gonna give them ID card, and then you accommodating them with Spanish. I'm saying pull along the Spanish ratings at the station, spend some money, and then they've been squandering their money, paint over those police vehicles that got Spanish writing on them. It's time that persons, and let them know that we be dealing with our sovereignty. We dealing with Guyana, English Guyana, not Spanish Guyana, English Guyana, and it's time that we take action to make sure that those Spanish writings at station are no longer there. Those Spanish writings on the police stations are no longer there. And also the general population must know here that we not giving up a mountain. We ain't giving not one blue saki, not one kiskidi, not a blade of grass, not a drop of water from the Pomeroon. We tell Venezuela no, and let them know forcefully that we ain't giving up not a blade of grass, but we accommodating Venezuela with our nonsense that we writing in Spanish about the place. And as I say, it's political, and it's part of the election strategy. And I close my case here.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you much. Thank you. This thing is, as I said, is an issue that we should keep following up. It's an issue that we should continue to follow. It's an issue that we should press on. And not only we, all Guyanese. And this is not, the sad thing is that when the opposition parties should come out, or if they should come out, they have come out, they came out to support the contention, or to support the government, to back the government on this issue, the issue relating to Venezuelans' claim to Essequibo. We have to be united in that. But when it comes to this thing, we also have to be united and tell them, say, look, don't go there. This can have far-reaching implications. Don't go there. The man might have had a brainwave and decided, but we must come out and tell him that this thing must be reversed. This thing affects, or is likely to affect, our sovereignty, and therefore, That is a bridge too far. You take it too far. And somebody made the point here that it might very well be illegal because Guyana is an English-speaking country, and I don't know that it got the necessary approvals. Are we, well, people claiming that we're in a dictatorship perhaps. So one man, in this case the president, said change the signs. I'm not saying that he said so, but I understand it might have come from very high. Whoever it is said change the signs. And without any debate, without any discussion, the signs are changed, incurring thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I suspect. And it might be interesting to see who got the contract to do these things, because nothing, these all things are part of a design, this corruption thing. Now we speak about corruption and incompetence, and this is a combination of both corruption, incompetence, because I can't see how any competent person will make such a decision. Gotta look down the road. Gotta look down the road. And I say again, if you are waiting for a way out, I make this say some people say I'm stubborn, obstinate. So we make the decision, we ain't changing it. And you're waiting for an opportunity, looking for an opportunity. Well, Venezuelan president has given you the opportunity, because he has now come out and he is again trying to stymie the development of the country by opposing to the granting of these oil blocks in the offshore Guyana. Things that are clearly in Guyana's waters, he came out, and therefore that might be the excuse you were waiting for. So let me give you a way out. Let me tell you, that might be the excuse. I got to say now, we made this decision, but in light of recent developments, let me give you the word. You're not gonna pay me. In light of recent developments, we have decided to rescind this decision. Recent development and the outcry and outrage from citizens, we have decided to go back. Get people to nice it up. I'll give you the idea. Get people to nice up the language and do the release and reverse it. Folks, this morning, as you would have noted, we spent most of the time dealing with this very vexing issue. We will continue to speak on it. We will continue. There are lots of other issues to be addressed. I mentioned to you earlier that even though we say now we're going to go twice a week, Monday and Wednesday, next Monday we are in court again. So there's not going to be any program next Monday. So the next program is likely to be on Wednesday. But I say to you again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook page. So in case something happens, we have decided that we're not going to wait a whole week to when the matter gets stale. When these things happen, we're going to come out and we're going to talk about it. The only way you are going to know is if you subscribe or if you follow the page, so that you're going to get the notification when posts are made, notifying you of the upcoming live, or when we go live, then you're going to get it. So I encourage you to do that. I know many persons have been doing that, but many of you are still have not done so. And I can tell many of you have not done so, because the amount of people or the number of persons who called me and messaged yesterday about program is a clear indication that that y'all have not followed, y'all have not subscribed, and all because you know why y'all are doing this thing? Because there's no longer corporal punishment in school. There's no longer, because long ago, corporal punishment where you have to turn and expose your backside to get this wild cane, or the girls put out their hand and get 2 lash, y'all would have subscribed or y'all would have followed the page. So please, we are pleading with you, please do that. We are the modern days teachers. Please do that. I leave here now by advising you to be safe and to say to you, take care until again Wednesday. The next scheduled program is Wednesday, but I have said if something comes up before that, we are likely to send out notification to advise you that we're going to have a program. So stay safe, my colleagues, and God willing, next Wednesday, see you here for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, stay safe. Bye.